Hello there and welcome back to the channel, and more importantly back to the beautiful, stunning surroundings of Howley Hall Golf Club here in Leeds. Following on from some of our best of series videos that we've had out, we are looking at the most forgiving drivers out this year. We've put together a bit of a list of some of our favourites that we've tried and tested and reviewed so far in 2025. Now, there are some of the usual suspects on the list, but also some drivers that maybe you wouldn't have put out there as well. But we're going to go through a fairly extensive list of what we've tested and tell you exactly what we think. So first is the Callaway Elyte X driver. Now, this is slightly draw bias, does have adjustable weights in here as well, so we can make it even more draw bias, as well as the dual cog system on the shaft, which again allows us to do that even more. So if you are a slicer of the golf ball, this can be ultra draw bias for you to really help you hit more fairways. It's also extremely forgiving. The AI 10X face that Callaway have developed, as the name would suggest, with artificial intelligence, means that they can test 10 times more data points across the face than previous models on the market. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that when we miss the middle of the face, and even if we hit the middle of the face, Callaway have done more research into how those golf balls react from a spin and ball speed perspective, and really fine-tuned this face to make sure that we get the most out of it wherever we strike it. So in contrast to the triple diamond that we featured before, you can see a definite difference between the carbon crown here, this thermoforged carbon crown. This composite look, I think, will appeal to many of you. The Callaway chevron on the top there, and I think the fact that we've got the movable weights in there as well allows us to custom fit it to even more golfers. Another driver that we tried earlier this year was the COBRA D-Adapt Max K. What a mouthful that is. So Max K 10,000 MOI, so like some other drivers we've seen on the market over the past few years, but Cobra have done it in true Cobra style by incorporating lots and lots of their kind of proprietary technologies. One of the most impressive in my mind is the smart pad, right? So what that means is whatever setting that you put the driver in, it still sits nice and square. Now, many products out there, when we adjust them, can sit massively open or shut, or even look like they've got absolutely tons of loft on sometimes. Obviously the 10K MOI will be a massive feature, and the hot face insert that they have in there as well means that we're going to get lots and lots of ball speed. This is a driver that's got a slightly larger footprint than some, huge weight back in the driver, making it really stable on those off-center hits, and may suit many of you out there on the market. One that we tried very recently is the Srixon ZXi Max driver. Now, there are obviously three in this driver family: the LS, the standard ZXi, and the Max. The Max being the most forgiving. The weight is furthest away from the head, that 14 gram weight in the back of it, which you can get other weights for it as well, should you want more or less in there. But really looks like the rest of the driver series sat behind the ball. We've just got this very subtle branding on there, the iFlex face in there as well, making sure that we get ball speed all over the face. And I think this milling really adds to the premium look, feel and quality of this driver, whilst also helping to maintain the spin rates and ball speeds across more of the face. This back CG means it's going to play extremely forgiving. I think in terms of looks, it's probably the nicest looking Max driver out there on the market. And everything that I've tested this year from Srixon in terms of their metalwood range, the ball speed has been incredibly impressive, and the ZXi Max is no exception. This is a really good driver and very forgiving. Now, we couldn't have a list of forgiving drivers without mentioning Ping. The new G440 series of drivers from Ping are fantastic, and the G440 Max is the most forgiving one that I've tried in a long time. Obviously the 10K that was out last year was extremely forgiving, was a little bit spinny, I thought, whenever I was hitting tee shots with it. The 440 Max is slightly lower spin than that. I'm finding that it's extremely straight off the tee. Maybe doesn't go as far as some of the other ones in this list when I've tested it, but certainly you will hit a lot of fairways with this driver. So that free hosel design means it's freed up lots of weight for the Ping engineers to move it around this driver. This large footprint also gives you loads of confidence stood behind the golf ball. It's got that very characteristic Ping sound when you hit it, and that carbon fly wrap crown now that's available in all of the drivers throughout the G4 G440 family, and previously was reserved for the LST model in the previous G430 range, now goes all the way through these drivers, and I think it just enhances some of the quality, the looks. We've still got those turbulators on there as well, giving you really great aerodynamics. Looks slightly different to many out there and maybe won't appeal to all of you, but this is a great driver and very forgiving, as you'd expect from Ping. A driver that had to be on our list was the Wilson Dynapwer Max driver for 2025. Love the really high gloss finish on there with the D for Dynapwer on the top. We've got those subtle kind of red Wilson accents on there. We have a weight that's movable. We can flip that over to make it even more draw bias or more neutral bias in a head that is already has a hint of draw bias in it as well. Looks great, feels great, and the ball flight I was getting with this was actually quite similar to what we were getting from Dynapwer Carbon. It's a little bit higher spin than that, and like I say, that draw bias element in there is going to help a lot of golfers out there. It's definitely a driver you should be considering if you're going to change this year. And last on our list, but by no means least, is the Qi35 Max. Now, this has come on leaps and bounds, in my opinion, from the previous Qi10 model in the Max head. Why? Well, I found the previous model to be very spinny. It went very straight, but couldn't really get as much distance out of it as I really wanted to. Now, this model tends to spin a bit lower, and certainly when we did our testing inside, I was getting some almost knuckleballs coming out there that were under 2,000 spin and coming out like a bullet, and they went absolutely miles. We've obviously got the speed pocket in there as well to help us get away with those off-center hits. Obviously the carbon face in there as well, which has been refined for Qi35. We've got lots and lots of weight packed back in the head there to really increase that MOI and get us to that 10k mark that we associate with the Max model from TaylorMade. We've obviously got the adjustability here in the hosel as well, and that chromium carbon crown, I think, really sets it apart from everything else when you walk into a golf store and see it on the shelf. Qi35 is a fantastic range of drivers, has something for everyone, but in terms of the most forgiving, the Max has to be on your list. I've had to do a lot of testing and kind of tinkering around with the settings on these drivers to make them suit me as well as I possibly can, and it does take quite a long time to do that, so you really do need to go for a proper custom fitting, try them all out, get an industry leading professional to help you make the right choice when you're spending the type of money that these drivers are now going for on the market, really, which is a pretty hefty price tag. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you've got anything to add, if you want to ask any questions, pop them in the comment section below. Am I missing something massively that I should have put in this list? I love getting all of your feedback and love having conversations with you on YouTube about it as well, because it's something that I absolutely love about golf. Obviously the technology side is kind of my bread and butter, really, and something that I get into a hell of a lot. So please drop those comments in there below. Keep watching all of our content to help you play more, play better, and we'll see you very soon.